always wonder this. Like, people always talk about gender existing, and the main people who have a big issue with transgender people, it seems like, are the ones who so wholeheartedly believe in gender. And I never understood this, because gender is the very thing that gives transgender people any credence. Claiming that you could be one sex, but the gender has nothing to do with the sex, basically. And it's irrespective of your sex, right? So, and to me, it's like this, though. People fight so hard for gender to exist, and the main people who do it are the ones against transgender people. And many of those people never recognize what is gender, what is the construct, what was it constructed for? Oh, it was constructed for men and women? That's funny. Really? You really think gender was constructed for women? How? I mean, if we really think of how the female gender, women, were constructed to be as far as gender, and our role was always for the man. And you can see this a lot with people, for example, who are born both, people who are born intersex long ago. Often people like to put them into female category because of the physical anatomy being easier to construct. But more than that, I think it has to do with a societal desire, basically, that basically the female gender, the female gender, being a woman, does not have much importance as far as gender. Its only role in life that it was constructed for was the man, for the male gender, basically, to support the male gender. It doesn't have a role of its own. It has no individuality. Therefore, to think of it as if it's an identity is odd to me. Because, I mean, like, the whole part of gender was based off of the man, basically. Not really off of women, and not really off of anyone else who wasn't born male long ago, I'm talking about. So, it's like, why do we try so hard to hold on to this construct when in society today, women aren't here to just support men? I mean, there are people out there that think we are, but I mean, like, for the most part, I don't think women think their only existence is for men. Like, without men, who are you and what are you? True, though, there are many women who do act that way, but there are also many men who act like, without men, who are they as well? So to me, it's like, it's based off of an individual basis. You could find anyone who's a very shallow individual, or someone who isn't really an independent individual. You can find a person who's very dependent, and so forth. So to me, it's just like, kind of like, I don't really understand gender, honestly, because it's like, one, in our society, we live in a patriarchal society, so that means our gender roles are specifically to support the man. Also, outside of that, when we talk about cultural, gender has no existence. Because if gender had an existence, then how come there are people of all sorts of cultures, they wear all sorts of different clothing, they have all sorts of different customs for different people. Females can be accepted to do one thing, while a man could do another thing. While in another culture, those same things could be vice versa, basically. So to me, it's just like, I don't believe in the whole, gender roles. I don't believe in gender. Because to me, it makes no sense. Yes, people say sometimes that, for example, people of a specific gender think this way, react this way, feel this way, act this way, are more emotional with this or less emotional with that. That's what they say. But the thing is with that is this. It's correlated with sex most of the time because they tend to think, okay, so if your sex is this, then your gender should be that, therefore you should act like this. And it's like, no, people are people. Gender to me is nonsensical because it's always saying this is how you should think, do this, act this, say this, breathe this, wear this, eat this. When people aren't robots, people are individuals. So women are individuals and men are individuals. Therefore, there is no gender because people can be anything and can act any way and can wear anything and can want anything and like anything. And it's irrespective of the sex they were born. The whole gender situation is built on ignorance, in my opinion, because gender is based off of the assumption that you are born male or female. That's why it was associated with male or female, because it's associated with male or female sexes. Now, transgender people are supposed to be basically going against the grain on that. But the thing is, the premise was an incorrect premise in the first place, which is why, to me, with transgender people, it's like, if we didn't have gender, we would see who they really were. Rather than if we have gender, they can play this game on you because you want to believe in this make-believe game of gender. And they play you over and over and over again because you wanted to play a game called gender, which never really existed. No one can see it. It's not tangible. It's not even specific in specific actions or behavior because, like I said, it changes from culture to culture. So it's not even based in specific activity. The way one thinks, people say sometimes, can have to do with a specific gender, but that doesn't even work because, as we see, there are plenty of transgender people who do that way. So obviously it doesn't go along with your sex all the time. Then there are people who don't identify as transgender, who may think differently as well. So that's why I just don't believe in gender. And I think the longer you play this game of gender, the more transgender people can play you over and over and over again for the fool you are letting yourself be because you decided to believe in gender when I don't think it really exists. So that's all I have to say in this video. And I understand, this isn't a very popular video for most people on my platform, but it's something that I've been watching lately. I watch content that has to do with gender, transgender people, and things of that nature. And, I kind of have a different type of perspective on this because a lot of people who are against transgender people love to believe in the traditional gender roles. Well, I just don't believe in gender altogether. And then, the other people, they believe in it too, and they believe in it in a younger way. To me, it's all nonsense, and people should just do away with it, honestly, because it wasn't made for anything productive. It was made to basically oppress women, in my opinion, and people who weren't born male. So I don't understand why we would embrace this stuff just because of tradition, but that's it.